Hey, James here. I was going to do this outside, but my neighbors are once again blasting their music, so doing anything in the backyard is going to be problematic. So we'll just do this right here. It's tea time, folks. Let's talk about tea. Got my new tea right here. This is a Kusa tea blend. I have been somewhat envious of coffee drinkers on the trail for a while now because all of the amazing instant coffee brands are available, like little pouches. You dump them into your cup, you mix it up, and boom, you have instant coffee that tastes, well, at least better than the Folgers that I grew up on. But I'm not a coffee drinker. Haven't been for a long time. My mom got me started early. I'm sure I was still in grade school the first time I had coffee. And I enjoyed it for a while, but now my system just can't take it. It's too much caffeine. So I take my caffeine in smaller doses, like green teas and oolongs and things like that. I don't even drink a whole lot of black tea, except for chai on occasion. But now I have Kusa tea, which is a game changer for me. This is the first one that I tried. This is the mango green tea, and then this is what I have in my cup right now. It's just a straight old green tea. And I gotta say, really amazing flavor. I guess there's a few reasons for this. Let me just kind of go into what's different about this tea. First of all, it's grown on organic plantations that are remote valleys in Asia. So they do whatever they can to minimize the amounts of like heavy metals and things like that can end up in a lot of produce products if they're next to freeways and airports and stuff like that. So for remote organic plantations, it's the process that's the most intriguing. I guess the guy who started this, of course I'll be linking you to Kusa tea, and you can check them out for yourself. I buy all mine off of Amazon, so I'll give you that link as well. The guy who started this says he spent 9 months trying to perfect this process that he calls cold steep technology. And I guess what normally happens, or has happened in the past with these dehydrated, powder instant teas, is that they tend to overbrew them, basically burning the tea when they make it, and then the old dehydration process used some sort of extreme cold that was also not good for the flavor profile. So you ended up with something that basically just has no flavor notes whatsoever. Might as well just be a Lipton tea. And that's not my thing. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a tea connoisseur, but I certainly appreciate a good cup of tea. And again, not like your standard, English black tea with cream kind of thing. I like tea that stands up on its own, and this seems to be doing that. I mean, I'm going to give you another link here too to a YouTube channel from that Mayleaf puts up that I've been really getting into. It's a shop in London. I cannot remember, Camden, I want to say, that has been really helpful to me as far as understanding more about tea. This whole tea culture, from growing, processing, different types of teas and all that. A step up from like the Tao of Tea in Portland. For those of you Portland folks out there who know about the Tao of Tea, love that place. And in fact, I can't wait to get. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to getting back to when I get back there at the end of this trail walk, because I ain't running. Where am I going with all this? Oh yeah, so teas. I like a good cup of tea, and I like teas with flavors, and this still, I mean, this has actual notes. It's got an initial hit, it kind of has a middle, it's got an end, and it's not just like a bitter black cup of tea. So the way that they do this with this cold steep process is about they do like an 8-hour steeping in room temperature water, I think, and it just basically leaves lots of time to get all of the chemicals, all of the stuff out of the tea that you want out of the tea, and then the dehydration process. I forget what they say about the dehydration process, but you can go to the website and find out more about that. But again, it's another sort of long process, and the tea itself is, as I said, comes from these organic plantations. They're sun-dried leaves. So what you're getting is like, pretty good, authentic teas. And they have like 4 or 5 flavors, probably maybe 5 or 6 flavors. There's some black teas that I'm not all that interested in. There's a chai that I will probably try. I'm taking both of these, the green tea and the green mango, with me on the trail to begin with, and then somewhere along the way I'll pick up the oolong and try that as well, because I am an oolong fan as well. So a cup of tea in the morning, a cup of tea at night at the end of a long day. I am already in heaven, and I'm not even on the trail yet. So yeah, this is just my at-home review of this amazing new product that I just discovered like a week or 2 ago. Yum. And am so excited about getting on the trail with it. Is there anything else I can tell you about it? It's free of chemicals, additives, fillers, excess sugars, has none of that stuff. It's basically, the ingredients are pretty, the ingredients are pretty clear on there. This is organic green tea and mango, and this is just green tea. That's it. You just get dehydrated teas, and it couldn't be any simpler. It couldn't be any tastier. I'm in love with it. That's all I have to say about this. Is there anything else that I want to tell you while I got you here? Oh, you know what? I should do some shout outs. I owe some shout outs to some patrons. Okay, I am up to 11 patrons now, which is awesome. I love you guys so much, and I owe 8 of you a shout out as part of your tier perks. So here comes. First shout out goes out to Rochelle, my dear friend Rochelle, who I've known for a long time. But Rochelle, who is in Hawaii, was my very first patron. Thank you very much for joining the team. Mike, my ranger buddy Mike, who is also my support coordinator for this journey. He came on board, and I'm very happy and grateful to have you. Dawn, right here in Hollywood, actually North Hollywood, is where she's hanging her hat these days. Thank you so much for your support, and welcome to the team. My buddy Dave. David Carter, who's in Portland, Oregon. Also, somebody I've actually known for even longer, since college. We go way back. One of my dudes from way back. In fact, there'll be a dude night this Friday. I'm looking forward to getting back to Portland and getting back to those dude nights because I'm missing tachos. So anyway, Dave, thank you so much for your support. Enjoy the ride. I think you will. Debbie. Debbie's another dear friend since I was 17 years old. So I'm really pleased and grateful to have you on board as a supporter, and I think you're gonna have a good time watching me slog through this journey. Tyson Carpenter and family, buddy from film work, and especially up at Leica. He's working still, I think, at Leica Studios up in Portland. They came on board to support this crazy endeavor. Thank you so much. Welcome to the team. Also owe a shout out to my buddy Nick, who is one of the most amazing producers I've ever had the pleasure to work with. An amazing individual. He's one of these guys that everybody who meets him remembers him, and not just remembers him, but loves him. Like, you meet him, to know him is to love him. And I love you, Nick. Thank you so much for coming on board and supporting me in this endeavor. I think you also are going to enjoy this ride. And last but not least, another producer friend of mine, a guy that I've actually don't think we've ever actually worked together, but we've been friends for a long time, and another dear man that I love very much. Thank you so much for coming on board and supporting this crazy adventure. And there you go. I think that's all the shout outs I owe so far. If you are so inclined to get a little bit deeper dive experience on this trip than is going to be here on Facebook, I encourage you to jump over to Patreon. Of course, the link will be down below, and the Patreon page is really where most of that deep dive stuff is going to come. That's going to be where a lot of the real talk is, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And I'll also be just randomly dumping raw footage from the documentary there as well. Anything that looks interesting or particularly juicy, if I have a good interview with somebody, and I've already set up like half a dozen interviews along the trail with some pretty incredible people. So over at Patreon is where a lot of that raw footage is going to go. I sort of affectionately think of it as my screening room, where we'll be checking out the dailies. So I don't know that I'll be posting daily there, but certainly there'll be a lot of juicy content over there. And also I'll be doing I'm going to try to schedule 2 or 3 Q&As along the way, so that we can have a chance to just have some live chat and talk amongst ourselves about the experience so far. And you can ask me anything you want, and I may or may not answer. But anyway, that's what's going on over there. We've talked about tea, we've done some shout outs. Is there anything else that I need to update you on right now? I'm a week out from heading down to San Diego to hang out with Scout and Frodo for the night. Really looking forward to that experience, and getting to meet for the first time some of my classmates face to face. Connected with a lot of people online, but it's always, it's always exciting to just get into the midst of it and just, be hiking along with the people. So I'm excited to see who's, starting with me on the same day. And then Wednesday next week, they will drive me out to the southern terminus and drop me off and leave me to my own devices. And then it's just a short, 2,600 or so mile walk north up to Canada. So, how hard could it be? Yeah, no, famous last words. There you go. I think that's all we're going to talk about on this video. I will try to put up at least one more before I hit the trail, but definitely once we get on the trail, there'll be, filming every day and shooting pictures. check out on Instagram, because I'm sure I'll be gramming tons of photos, and probably the occasional short video or two, and then at least once a week here on YouTube. I will be seeing you guys later. I mean, I am a little bit of a tea nerd. In my normal process, I like the Gong Fu style of tea making, which, you know, is not a tea bag. It's whole leaf. It's a lot of whole leaf to a little bit of water and a very short infusion period. But you get multiple infusions out of that. So depending on the tea, I can get anywhere from like 6 to 10 infusions out of a few grams of tea leaves, and that's the way I prefer to get it these days. Tea bags don't do it for me anymore. It's got to be whole leaf, and it's got to be preferably Gong Fu style, where you're getting all of those flavor bits out of those tea leaves, with each infusion, and the kind of thing that's not really all that trail friendly. For one thing, I don't really want to be carrying around wet leaves, from infusion to infusion. It's just a whole lot simpler to do single servings, and so I haven't really done any tea out in the field because of that. I've tried some bags, but have never been happy with them. So I gave these guys a shot, and man, oh man, am I pleasantly surprised.